Good evening. The opinions and statements voiced by our guests do not necessarily reflect the opinions of this network. Enjoy the shows.
We've been expecting you.
Monday, time for our maven of the supernatural, Denise Pridemore. This is the Paranormal Pride. Join to listen and chat live on WBHM-DB.com or Spreaker app. Search WBHM-DB every Monday at 7 p.m. Central for your supernatural paranormal fix. Welcome to the Paranormal Pride, where the show is about the guest and the listener.
You're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio. Broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Welcome, everyone, to the Paranormal Pride. This is Old Home Week here. We're going to have on David Glidden tonight. I hope all of you will enjoy that. So I know for most of you, I don't have to introduce him. You know that he's a good friend of mine, and he's a real good friend of Rick Rose's as well. And I want to thank him so much for going to Rick's funeral and sharing that with all of us, that so we could say our goodbyes peacefully at home. And because that was a long trip for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was kind of funny the way it worked out. Like I had posted about like I wasn't actually able to go up there at the time that I posted it, and then a friend of ours, Jason Kupsik, messaged me. He said he wanted to go too. So I was like, well, why don't I just go up to Kansas City and we'll ride out there together? And that's what we did. Next day, I pretty much told work I was going to a funeral and wouldn't be back for a few days, and I just left to Kansas City, and we drove, I don't know, in all, it was about a 13-hour drive.
Yeah, I know about how far it is.
Yeah.
The closest I think I've been was like, we stayed in Springfield, Ohio once on our way to Gettysburg. So I know it's north of there and up on the bay.
Yeah.
On the lake. So, and it was strange is that a friend of mine sent me a message the other day telling me that he got a job working for King's Dominion, but he had to go to training at Cedar Point. It made me think of Rick because that was one of his favorite amusement parks to go to.
Yeah.
He always talked about Cedar Point. So, and then I was watching Mike Rowe on, his road trip. He had on a Put in Bay shirt. Again, another place that Rick really likes. So it was like, oh crap, Rick, stop. We're all, we're seeing you all the time. We're still dealing with all the fallout of his comments on Facebook and people being
nasty
buttheads. Yeah. And but again, telling people that, hey, you're playing right into his hands. He's loving every minute of it. And another thing I told people is that in every picture that you saw, Rick was alone. The pictures that he took, you can't see his face to see if he had on a mask or anything. So you don't know how he is because of the fact that you don't know him. All these people that reached out to be like that had no clue what kind of person he was, that he was a pot stirrer.
Yes.
And so, as mad as we were all getting at the nasty things being said, we were all sitting there with the sarcasm that's going through our brains going, oh, he's loving it. He's just loving this. So I guess he got his last wish. He made it around the world.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure. I actually, like, whenever it first started going down on Facebook, on his Facebook page, like, I ended up getting banned for 3 days off of Facebook just because of my comments to some other people. But I did get my damage in there.
Oh, well, good for you. I had probably 100 people I ended up blocking. I was getting nasty messages.
Me too.
Well, I sent you one of them, and it just really irritated out of me that somebody is basically wishing me dead.
Yeah.
And
keyboard warriors.
And the thing is I wear a mask. In fact, I just ordered some new face visors because I couldn't breathe and the moisture was making me sicker from the mask on Saturday at Walmart. So I ordered myself a face shield. I ordered one for Ron and some for the kids. That way I'll be able to breathe, and if I sneeze, I don't have to worry about it being in my mask, but it might be all over my face shield.
Right.
But I can clean it with alcohol. So
it'd be like that post I made.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I saw that. All I could do was laugh. So
yeah, even after Rick's passing and everything, I still don't wear a mask unless I have to. I mean, I'm not going to be so disrespectful where I'm not going to go to an establishment just because they ask me to wear a mask. I'm not that bad, It doesn't bother me that much. But like, if I don't have to wear a face mask, I'm not going to. I mean,
well, on Saturday at Walmart, mine was going on and coming off and going on and coming off. And like I said, the moisture is what's bad for my lungs. Do you know people are getting Legionnaire's disease?
Oh yeah.
Because of wearing masks because of the moisture getting in their lungs and stuff.
Yep.
At least it's treatable. It's a bacterial infection. But I don't know if people realize what's going to happen from that.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I won't wear a mask is because I know there's pros and cons to each style of mask and everything like that. But also, I mean, the cons to wearing it, you could also make yourself sick. So one way or another, you could get sick.
Right. That's why I bought the face shields. They should be here in about a week, and they're made in America. So, but I still have masks for when I go, like tomorrow. I'll have to wear one when I go to the doctor.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It's at the hospital. I should wear one until I get my face shield. But it is what it is, and we all have to do what we feel is best, no matter what that is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people should be attacking each other.
Exactly.
So we just did we did some training the other day, and Ron and I we were all social distanced for the bulk of the day. They sat us at tables and stuff, but Ron and I didn't even think about the fact that we're together all the time. We could have taken our masks off at that point. Mm-hmm. But with the 10 people in the room, maybe the distance was too close for them. But we did election training so we can be election poll workers.
Nice.
Well, it'll be interesting. We were the youngest people there.
I'm not surprised.
Me either. But I did it in Kansas City, Missouri years ago when the kids were little. And I figured it would be a good way to make some vacation money. So, and now that we know that we're making 2 trips to Vegas in the next 6 months. So we need to save that money. And for those of you who don't know, we're going to be grandparents again. And we want you guys to keep my daughter in your prayers because it took a long time for her to get pregnant. And so we have a grandbaby due sometime in January. And don't know what it's going to be yet. I think it's a boy, but I could be wrong. So
it's going to come out looking like Rick.
Oh, no. Well, it probably will be have a round head and be bald.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
So, well,
a walking stump.
Yeah. She had IVF, which is in vitro fertilization, back on May 15th. And so we've known that there was a possibility back in May, but I found out at the end of May that she was pregnant. So we've been quiet about it, and it was at her discretion that we could only share when she was ready to share. So she shared the other day, and so now I can share, and I can be all excited, but I also have to be reserved.
Right.
So, because of what we've already been through. But how is your little one?
She's been cranky today. I've got her sitting with John's wife. She's watching her while I'm doing the show here. But
Aww.
she's, I don't know, she's been cranky today, but she was playful the last couple hours. She's been
maybe she's teething. Well, maybe she's teething.
She's got 2 teeth pushing through now.
Well, she could have more.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. She's, I don't know. She's throwing tempers like a...
Well, she is 9 months old.
Yeah, I know.
She's getting ready to come up on separation anxiety and stranger anxiety.
Well, she's already got the separation anxiety. When she spends, like, I get her on the weekends and everything, so whenever she's with me, whenever I take her back to her mom's, she throws a big fit.
Well,
understandable. I'm like, it's understandable. It's me. I get it.
I don't throw a fit when I leave you.
Whatever.
But I do go out. We did go out of our way just a little bit. What is it? Maybe 500 yards off the road that we were on.
Yes.
Because there was no other way around the road yet. There will be soon. The bypass will be done.
Yeah.
But we did, and you said something about, taking time out for people to see each other. I told you, we do. We take the time to, if you get even close, we're going to find a way to see you. If we really want to see you, we'll find a way. So, or if we're going to be someplace, we'll tell people that we're going to be there and where they can meet up with us so that they can see us if they want to. And I never take it personally when they don't make it, but it works out. So, but I'll tell you, and I want to thank you so much for calling me on July 4th.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome.
Between you and Steve Hayes, I got the information that I needed and everything. And yeah,
I was still reeling a little bit whenever I called you about that. Like, I went to work and I was at work whenever I found out about Rick's passing. I just up and left. I told my coworker, I was like, dude, I'm probably going to leave.
Yeah.
Told him what was up, and then I told my boss what was up, and that's, I started getting bombarded with phone calls and text messages and stuff like that, and I literally sat out in the parking lot for about an hour before I actually did leave.
Well, when I heard about it, I didn't get a chance to get on Facebook because the person who told me, didn't like Rick at all. So the first thing I did was call Rick, knowing that he's a jokester. And of course it rang a few times, so it didn't go straight to voicemail. So I guess that was good. Not a lot of people had done that yet, I guess. And then I called you. And because I realized that the person who had seen it, the only common friend we have that would have known facts was you.
Right.
So, and we had just gotten done at a parade, going to a parade and all this other stuff. We still hadn't figured out what we were going to do the rest of the day yet.
Right.
So, that was, we just kept busy the rest of the day, just because it was July 3rd is always hard for me anyway. And now add July 4th to that.
Yeah.
So, but, again, it is what it is, and we're not going to worry about that anymore. We can't do anything about somebody passing. We're just grateful that he's not suffering and that he got to go around the world. and hopefully he's busy haunting some of these people that were buttheads.
Yeah.
So,
it took me a couple days, like after I got banned on Facebook, it was like a day later. I kept looking at the comments and everything, and I couldn't comment. I couldn't say anything, but I can still see all these posts. And I just got to thinking, I was like, wait a minute, you know what? This is something Rick would have done.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that I don't want to say pulled this off, but like the fact that this happened the way it did and like just the way it blew up, Rick would have been proud of himself.
Oh, yeah. I can see him with his chest all out right now, going, I provoked everybody.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what side you're on. You got provoked somehow. Either one side provoked you, or you're taking my side and being poked and prodded by everybody. It
became comical after I realized it. I was like, this is just too funny.
Mm-hmm.
But if he was here to see it and still participate in it,
it'd be even funnier.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It would be just out there.
This would be his orb discussion right now about orbs. Yeah.
The other, after we got back from the funeral and everything, and of course, it had just picked up right when we got back. But a couple days later, having a couple beers, and I was like, you know what? There's you, Rick. You pulled that one off. That was a great exit.
It was, especially the post you made on the 3rd.
Yeah.
The meme about being in heaven.
Which you guys made me smile too, because he ended up stealing that meme from me. Mm-hmm. But the irony of it all.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is all very ironic the way it turned out. But, there's a lesson in there for all of us. Our words can come back to haunt us.
True.
And even if you think that they're innocent, like mine saying nope, that's all I said was nope on that post on April 28th. And 100 people decided that I needed to be raked over the coals and treated like crap because I said nope. They don't know what I was saying nope to. They don't know if I was saying nope to somebody in there somewhere or to Rick.
Well, the problem with these kind of people that jump on there, they don't care what you say. They just don't. The only thing they care about is what they're putting in. It's like those people that they don't listen when they're talking to somebody. They don't respond to their response. Mm-hmm. They just respond to themselves. That's basically it.
Well, I have some theories on who some of these people are. I think some of these people are some of those ones that are out there just stirring up the pot, that trying to distract us from other things,
right,
that are going on. And I'm not going to make it political. It's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I think that somebody's trying to distract us from what's really going on in the background. And is it the government? Is it just these movements?
The pedophiles.
Or the pedophiles. It could be them too. Whoever it is. There's plenty of...
We're making this big deal out of the mask, but yet we're not making a big deal out of these pedophiles and sex trafficking.
Right. All that's fallen off the, how many kids are missing suddenly that would have been in school instead? All that's up, and, it's sad to see.
Makes you wonder why Walmart took the poster board of the missing kids out of their entrances.
Did they?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they also shut down one entrance too, making it even more likely for you to get sick from passing people.
Yeah, that was about the brightest thing in the world.
Yeah, I was like, are you laying people off? You can only have 3 people at the door now. One to fake like they're cleaning carts, and one to count you coming and going, and one to sit outside to berate you for not wearing your mask until you get to the front door.
Well, here's a little conspiracy nut.
Actually, we have to go on break.
Okay.
So after we get back from the break, we'll do that. Everyone, you're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting. The best in paranormal talk radio.
Oh, come on. I'm Southern, but... nope. That'll do. Hello. I am Kat Hobson, host of Paranormal Experience here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. I enjoy having guests from all areas of the paranormal, from ghosts to ufology to cryptids and beyond. You'll find some of the best researchers in their fields bringing you some great information. Join me on Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 p. Eastern here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Son of a...
Hey, son.
Mother...
Son? What are you doing?
Hey, Mom. I'm getting ready to listen to Periscope Uncensored.
By expanding your vocabulary.
Well, it is uncensored.
Son, the uncensored part of Periscope Uncensored is Jax and I getting down to brass tacks with all aspects of the paranormal. There's no fluff on our show.
So, no off-color commentary?
I didn't say that.
Awesome!
Son?
I just hit my head.
Oh boy. I'll go get you an ice pack. Catch Periscope Uncensored Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, only on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, Birmingham, Alabama.
Thank you for listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 23 minutes after the hour.
Welcome back to the Paranormal Pride. I'm your host, Denise Pridemore, and my guest tonight is my friend David Glidden, and we've been talking about a bunch of different things. So far, really nothing paranormal other than our friend Rick being a pain in our radio rear ends. But so you were talking about conspiracy theory.
Well, I was going to throw this one out there just to see, I don't know, just to throw it out there to make people think. But so today, it was either today or yesterday, the Missouri governor, he was talking about opening up the schools for kids to go back to school. And in his speech, he actually said that, yeah, there'll be kids getting COVID. They're not going to send them to the hospital. They're not going to treat them there or anything. They're going to send them home. And if the kids go home, they're going to end up infecting their parents probably if they have COVID. Mm-hmm. And then I got to thinking, a lot of people have talked about, well, this only came up because the primaries are this year. Mm-hmm. Well, if you get everybody sick, who's going to get out and vote? Now, if you're, we'll just say it. If you're on the Democratic Party, if you're a liberal or whatever, if you're anti-Trump or whatever, you've probably got the mindset that, yeah, these Trumpsters are going to not want to adhere to the mask rule. They're going to do everything they can to be defiant, yada, yada, yada. So let's get them sick so they can't go to the polls. The people wearing the masks will probably be the liberals or Democrats or whoever believes in wearing masks. They'll make it to the polls safe.
Yeah.
So, there's just an assumption under that. With the opening of the schools, it's just a broader way of trying to get people infected. So
that's part of the reason that we signed up to be poll workers, because we're hearing that some of the poll workers, being elderly, aren't really wanting to be there.
Yeah.
So, but after going through the training, they're doing a lot of things to keep everyone safe. At least in Kansas, we're disinfecting everything. We're spraying people, offering people hand sanitizer that's not sticky when they come in the door. We're sanitizing, we're walking them to their voting machine and wiping it down in front of them. Mm-hmm. We're cleaning off the stylus before each person. I mean, it's going to take longer to vote.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ron, they call it a spritzer at the front door. And so at least that's what we're doing in Miami County. And so there's a lot of different things that we're doing. But again, like I was saying, I think we're probably the youngest people to sign up. And that it's mostly, like I said, we signed up mostly to make some vacation money. But, it's different when you think about, that the bulk of these people are in there with what we saw over 65. But you can walk in to vote right now in Kansas. So, Ron and I, because we may be working the polls, we have to go vote early.
Right.
But I'm walking in to vote. I am not voting on, I'm not, doing mail-in voting.
Yeah, I've heard people say that the mail-in voting is supposed to be the safest way to get your most secure way to get your vote in. But how many times have you had something delayed or lost in the mail?
Yep. And the thing is, they only have 2 weeks from the day for all the votes to be counted.
Yeah.
So
how many votes will end up late?
Mm-hmm. So, or actually, it's 10 days because August 14th is when they go and look through the provisional votes to see if they're going to count or not. And we know a lot more about this now than we ever did, because our training started at 8:30 in the morning. We got done at 5:30 at night, and it went the whole time. And it would have been done sooner if Ron hadn't pulled the thumb drive out too early. So
there's a Ron to pull it out too early.
Yeah. So, well, that's a whole different thing. But we had 8 machines, and we had to have all of them. They all had to be shut down at the same time. So Ron screwed up, and his ended up being the last machine finally. But they found out how to recover everything because of that. So it ended up being training for our county clerk too.
It's like, I didn't come here to be trained. I came here to train you.
Yeah, but it could happen.
It could happen.
Because when you set everything up at the morning, at the end of the day, and you're undoing everything, you kind of forget some of the things already because it's been a long day. Yeah. So, and on voting day, it's even worse because you got to have it set up before 7, and it doesn't end until after 7 o'clock. And I guarantee that amount of time, you're not out of there until 9:30 at night if it's a big polling place.
Yeah.
Who knows what it's going to look like this year?
That's up for anybody's imagination at this point.
Yep. What I'm going to suggest is anybody who's wanting to vote, that they go and they vote early and often. No, don't just vote early. Walk in and get it done. And that way the crowd is controlled and you don't have to feel the stress of everybody breathing down your neck. But I got a feeling there's going to be a lot of people standing outside with the 6 feet rule.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did vote early and often. In training, we voted 8 times, each.
Your vote counts.
Yeah. Well, it got to be funny because they didn't clear out the voting machine. And so basically a bunch of the names that we had to pick from were in the area, but they had already been used. This poor guy, his name was Daryl. He ended up with 5 women saying that they were living at his house. And so I ended up being Daryl's wife and found out that Daryl's wife was actually running for office. I had no clue, So it was fun to do. We met some really nice people. They all live here in our town. We never met any of them, Never even
Nice.
seen any of them in 20 years. Never seen any of these people.
Well, that's good.
So, and Ron got a sex change during the election, during our fake election.
Congrats,
So,
Ron.
Yep. Well, we had to.
Twice drinking, isn't it?
Yes, but because of the provisional votes, there's so many things you can't turn away anybody because they don't have an ID.
Wait, what?
Even though you're required to have an ID, you can't turn them away, but they have a provisional vote. That doesn't mean it gets counted, but it's a provisional vote.
Okay.
So it's kind of weird when you think about it. You're going, well, the law says you have to have a photo ID, and it doesn't matter what state.
So
It doesn't
basically,
matter.
you can vote, but they don't count unless you have an ID.
It may not count unless you see. The thing is you can take your ID to the county clerk and say, here's my ID. I just left it at home that day. But how many people actually follow up and do that?
Yeah, probably not.
So, but yeah, like I said, we learned a lot. We left with a pamphlet, or not a pamphlet, a training booklet of like 50 pages. I'm kind of hoping they don't call me because I know I'm going to forget something.
No.
No, well, or I'll end up in charge of something, which is probably worse. But like I said, I'm going to suggest everybody votes early if they possibly can, because I think that August 4th for the primary is going to be a really hard day for a lot of people, especially if it's hot.
Yeah.
You don't know how long you're going to be standing in line. And if your polling place is small, it's even worse. So, but I know I'm voting.
I am too.
So I'm going to find out if I can vote here in Lewisburg. If I can't, then I get to drive over to Paola and do it over there. But I'll wait for Ron so we can do it together.
Oh.
So, well, because Paola is a distance away.
Yeah.
That's where our county seat is. I know it's only 17 miles, but still. There's no need to put extra miles on the car. If he's got to go over there to fix a machine at Walmart, we might as well ride with him and just go vote.
Yeah.
So let his company pay for it. So, but yeah, I do think that there's something going on that they're don't look at the man behind the curtain kind of thing.
It's the man behind the curtain.
Oh, there's that. It's puppeteers kind of thing going on, but we do live in Kansas, so it could quite possibly be.
Very well.
So I want to ask you, what isn't going on this year?
Oh man.
I mean, I know that your event got canceled, the para concert.
Paracons in general, those, yeah. There's quite a few people that were bummed out, understandably, but I mean, everybody understands. There's some that are still going on though, which makes me wonder.
We have one scheduled on September 26th in Van Meter, Iowa.
Oh, that one's still on, the Van Meter?
Yep. Van Meter Visitor Festival is still going on, and it's outside.
Oh, okay.
So you got a little bit better chance of not being pushed in close to everyone. And but it's the same day as HauntCon in Omaha.
Has that one been canceled yet?
Not that I know of. I mean, I'd ask Josh Hurd. He'd know because he's supposed to be at both of them, and he can't be in two places at once.
Yeah.
But I don't know how Nebraska is, at least Omaha.
There's supposed to be one in Texas this year as well, like a big one.
So, but I'll find out. But the last I heard, it was still going on.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I knew Jason Kupsik, who, for those of you that don't know, runs the KC Paracon, Kansas City Paracon. When he canceled the backup date that he had was actually the same day as the HauntCon.
Oh, September 26th as well.
Yeah. So he just went ahead and flat out canceled. Kansas
City, Missouri has very strict rules.
Yeah.
So I can see that Mike Ricksecker had moved his from June 12th. No, June 13th because it was my birthday weekend. June 13th to September 26th, and then had to cancel it because Illinois' rules. Well, your family's in Illinois, so you know Illinois has got some very strict rules as well.
Oh yeah.
And so he had to cancel that at the Mineral Springs Hotel there. But Sharon's event, the camp out so far, is still going on at McPike Mansion on October 24th, I believe it is. So, so some things are still going on, but again, the camp out, it's outside. So you can see we're just going to have less people in the basement or the wine cellar at the time. So yeah, that's October 24th. So, and I talked to her 2 weeks ago, right before Henry's birthday celebration. They do that. And they had a bunch of people that showed up. It wasn't as big as usual, but Coyote Chris went. And so it looks like it's going to still go on. I just don't think we're going to have 60 people or 70 like we've had in the past. And this will be the last McPike Mansion campout.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to go camping on October 24th, you might want to come.
I was just looking at the date. It's on a Saturday, so I'm like, you know what? That'd be kind of cool to get out.
It is. And then we can show you around because we're one of the few people that's allowed to do that. So we've been volunteers there now 11 years.
Yeah, I've never been out there, so I mean that'd be a new experience for me too. So.
And I know you've wanted to go out there.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting place. So were you supposed to be at any of the Paracons besides Kansas City Paracon and well, of course you're going to be at the Paraconcert. You were the one putting that on.
Yeah, there was the one down in Little Rock I was going to be at.
Oh yeah, me too.
And then
actually I have Michelle LeBaron on next week because we were supposed to meet next week.
Aha.
Yes, so she's on my show next Monday.
There was a couple I planned on going to just because I wanted to get out and go to more conferences this year, but of course they got canceled. Silicon I wanted to go to, but I don't know. I think they canceled that, didn't they?
Yeah. I hadn't seen that she had canceled that, but I assumed that she would based on the fact that it's inside and that can be very crowded in the mall there in Mattoon.
Yeah, and the Michigan Paracon, that's usually a huge one. I was going to go with that.
The Traverse Bay one?
Yeah, I think that's the one.
Or the Upper Peninsula one?
Right now.
I know. It's sad that I know which ones they are.
There's just one of them that I know it's usually pretty huge. Like they have 24 speakers, and last I knew it was in a casino or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's the Traverse Bay one. And then I know the Chicago Paracon, she sent out a thing saying, hey, this might be virtual Paracon again, or this time.
Which I don't think I really I wouldn't want that for anybody, a virtual Paracon, because vendors, they lose out on that.
They do lose out on that. The speakers do okay because they at least have people that are listening to them speak, and they at least get followers. But
they get followers, but some of the ones that they don't have the ones that don't have the big name that are a big draw or anything, but they have something interesting to talk about. A lot of times, them talking at these things is a way they get attention to themselves and get a drawing, and they start having people come to their table, even if they don't have anything to sell per se, but they're just there with a vendor booth just to say hi and talk to people. I mean, you can't really sit there and talk to everybody while you're doing a virtual deal.
Yeah, you're not going to feel like you know them after that.
Yeah, the conferences are, the biggest part of any conference is the interaction between people. And doing these virtual ones, you're lacking that. It's just people behind. You're seeing names, you see pictures, and you see typing, but you get that interaction, that one-on-one with people like you would at a conference, which I think is probably the biggest aspect of the whole thing, is just meeting people.
Do you think that the Zoom type of conference might be a little bit easier?
No.
I know those are hard. I know that Alex Matsuo has an event this weekend that she invited me to that's a Zoom. So I guess I'll find out what I think about it at that point. Because, I've done Zoom for all kinds of things.
Yeah, I've done it for conference calls at work. But trying to do that for like a Paracon, I just don't see that being very successful.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I don't know. I'll see how it works with Alex and see what I think about it. But I use Teams and I do that. I use Skype. I've done it all different ways.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and also, a lot of these big names, they get paid X amount of money to show up at these things and make appearances. Are they going to get paid to get on Skype or Zoom and do these virtual conferences?
Who knows? Don't know. Like I said, I'll find out some more and I'll let you know what I think.
Yeah.
Because, it's kind of like just a video radio show kind of thing.
Pretty much.
So unless somebody raises their hands and wants to talk, otherwise everybody's talking over each other. So, which makes it kind of difficult to manage that aspect of it based on what I've seen with our, meetings at work. My boss has been trying to do some of those team meetings with video. I've never met any of my teammates. I've been with this team since 2016. I've never met any of them, including my boss. Never met him personally. I'm the only one in Kansas. Everybody else is in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
And Minneapolis at that. So needless to say, I don't want to go. So it is what it is. So we'll find out what I think. But so far, everybody wants, when the boss says something, nobody wants to say anything because they're afraid somebody else is going to talk.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there is a raise your hand feature in Teams that seems to work, but I don't know. It's weird. But when we come back from this break, we're going to talk about you.
Okay.
Not about Paracons or anything like that, because we're done with that. We're going to talk about where's your expertise lie on things that you can share about in the paranormal. I'm going to make this very specific because I know where you go. So everyone, you're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. We'll be back with David Glidden in just a few minutes.
You're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, come on. I'm Southern, but... nope. That'll do. Hello. I am Kat Hobson, host of Paranormal Experience here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. I enjoy having guests from all areas of the paranormal, from ghosts to ufology to cryptids and beyond. You'll find some of the best researchers in their fields bringing you some great information. Join me on Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 p. Eastern here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience. Experienced Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Welcome back to the Paranormal Pride. I'm your host, Denise Pridemore, and my guest tonight is David Glidden. And just like I said, I'm going to go back to the question that I have for you. What is your expertise in the paranormal?
Calling people out.
Well, we know that. But besides that?
I don't consider myself an expert at anything in the paranormal, just because there are no true experts on anything. But, a lot of people would come to me about the spook lights, if that's what you're getting at.
Well, there's that. You're also a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Not just for, Ron goes, not just porn.
Ron's been in a couple.
Well, yeah, we won't talk about those. Yes. And so, but you also do haunting history, so you're into the history of haunted locations, the factual history.
Yes.
And let's see, what else are you into that I can share?
Bigfoot, UFOs. I look at everything.
There you go. And you have a radio show also on Sunday nights at 6:00 still?
No, we stopped that one.
You stopped that? No more paranormal frequencies?
No, we're not doing that anymore. And also the haunting history, we've kind of, I don't want to say put it on the back burner, but we've kind of stopped doing that as well. But I don't know. We're going to see where things go here in the near future. Kind of, I'm getting that itch again. So
yeah.
We'll see. What happens.
And then your documentaries are available on VidiSpace, right?
They're on VidiSpace, Amazon Prime, and RealHouse.org.
And Real House, can you also order a actual DVD of those?
No, it's just a digital download on Real House. I do have the DVD up on Amazon if anybody wanted that. Otherwise, they can just contact me on Facebook for a DVD. And
I know that I've seen both films. Of course, mm-hmm. I saw them live with you, mm-hmm. and I'm still laughing about Josh in the second one, but that's a whole different ball game. But I'm not going to give it away for anybody who hasn't seen it. But the second one is my favorite one so far.
Right.
Is there a third one in the works?
Josh and I have talked about it a little bit, not a whole lot, but a little bit. We've discussed possibly going back out to the Brown Mountains in North Carolina. I've also recently been contacted by another person who, on his property, has been experiencing that kind of phenomenon, as well as UFO phenomenon. Mm-hmm. And the guy has sent me literally about 20 videos of these lights and probably about a dozen pictures. I mean, he sent me a bunch of stuff to look at. So that might be something we're going to look into. I don't know. Again, it's still up in the air, though. We haven't said anything in stone. We haven't really touched into it a whole lot. But it has been kind of mentioned.
There's a place in southeastern Missouri that has some strange lights. Mm-hmm. That I don't know if you've heard about those. Are you talking about near Cape Girardeau? It's south of Cape Girardeau, I believe. I'm seeing if I can find find it again. So it's for some reason something to do with Smith. But like I said, it's just me and my brain goes here, there, and everywhere. And I believe it's in like New Madrid, Missouri, but in that area. But the town, like I said, starts with an S. I just can't remember the name of it. But it wasn't too far from where I met Ron, actually. It's not too far from Blytheville, Arkansas. So, but I happened to see a thing on TV about it, and they have these strange lights that show up over this lake. So I'll have to find it and send it to you again.
Okay.
So
now when we've discussed also like what we wanted to do with the North Carolina stuff. We're going to end up taking like a full team of people out there and getting really in depth with the filming with it. Some of the research that we're going to be doing, people we're going to be talking to, and people that are going to be working with us. Should we get it all set up, we plan on tackling this thing like hardcore. I mean, we've had that mindset, and that was our mindset before we started filming that second one. But that hurricane that ran through just kind of put the brakes on it, you know.
I can see that. So, but it still turned. I mean, it turned out really good, even though you had to shift gears.
Yeah.
So, I know the Brown Mountain Lights has been on your bucket list to really explore more deeply.
Yeah, you know, things work out for a reason. If we'd went out there, we probably, I don't know, we would have had to have done like, I don't know, maybe 3 or a 2-part series for the second. It would have been like a total of 3 films at that point, just because of all the stuff that happened on the second location, the second film.
So, I just since I saw your spook light movies, I have come across like 8 or 10 different places that have that type of phenomenon.
It's actually a very common phenomenon, and it's surprising to me to see people's reaction when I tell them how common it actually is. Like it's not just centered around their town or that part of the world or anything like that. So it's pretty surprising.
What do they call them besides spook lights?
It's going to depend on where you're from. Some people just call them lights. Some call them ghost lights, phantom lights. The spook light just depends where you're from. I know here in Joplin, they've got like 4 or 5 different names for the location itself, like the Spook Light Road, the Hornet Spook Light, the Joplin Spook Light. There's a couple others that I can't think of, but yeah, they've got several different names.
Yeah, it's going to drive me crazy until I can remember the name of that town down there. So I know there's a lake. I know that it was on TV. I know it wasn't too far from where I met Ron, you know, all these things. And if you're in my brain right now, you'd be probably spinning around in circles going, I know where it is. I know exactly where it is. I just don't have a map in front of me to sit there and tell you. Huh? No, it's not Steele. It's not Sykeston. Like I said, it's north of I think it's more north of Jonesboro, Arkansas, on the Missouri side, but I think it's up about, I believe that you would turn off at Kenton. I think that's the way you would turn off the second exit into Missouri and keep on going. Yeah, it's sad. I can tell you. I can probably tell you how to get there. Just can't tell you the name of the town. I've never been there, but I looked it up on the map, and I know the Blytheville area and going up 55 because I did it a lot when I met Ron going to St. Louis. So it'll hit me, and when it does, it'll be 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, 1 o'clock in the morning, you're going to get a text from me. So, but I can't wait to see what you do with that, because the last one didn't end up really being a spook light.
Not necessarily.
No, it ended up, you brought somebody into the light, and it was Josh, but woke him up. But, and I know Josh is working on a lot of things, so I'll talk to him about that at some point. But I don't know. You always surprise me with the things that you come up with, the questions that you raise, and you always make me think.
Right.
And
the movie's been out quite a while. I'm okay with telling people, kind of where the direction went. But I always like to leave it vague a little bit. Like, I can say with the second film we ended up exploring the connection between these lights and aliens and Bigfoot, and everything just kind of went into left field with that. So if anybody's listening, you want to watch it that hasn't watched it, there you go.
And if you have any questions, make sure you message him. He'll answer your questions. He loves to talk about this stuff. So, are you guys planning on going back down to Mena, Arkansas anytime soon?
Not to film, but we still want to get a group of people together to go down there camping for a few days.
I definitely want to do that.
Yeah, it'd be a blast.
As long as I can find some place that's not rocky to sleep on.
They've got a stage there. That's what Josh and I slept on, was the stage, and it's a huge stage for being in the middle of nowhere.
Do you know just down the road from there, maybe 40 minutes from there, is where a lot of the quartz comes from that's used in America?
Yep.
People that probably don't even have a clue. They probably think it comes from overseas or something like that. But it's just right down the road there. I checked it out and thought, hey, that might be a fun. My daughter loves crystals. And I've told her about Susan. Don't worry. I have to tell her about Susan. And, but she wants to go find her own at this point. And I told her, I said, I know a couple places down in Arkansas. Actually, we know 3, right there by Dog Patch was another one.
Uh-huh.
And so there's quite a few just down there that you can go and dig your own crystals. Yeah.
The Ford Camp Crystal Mine, the owners are super nice people. I can't speak highly enough of them. They actually brought Josh and myself over to their house and fed us while we were down there. So, I mean,
that was nice of them.
Yeah. And,
not even knowing that you guys are house trained, right?
Right. Well, I am. I don't know about Josh.
His wife probably still doesn't know.
She probably packs diapers.
Probably. Not just for Lincoln.
Yeah.
Poor Josh. He's not even here to defend himself.
That's okay. He won't mind.
No, he just likes getting the attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole different problem. But so I know that that's one place that Ron and I have talked about wanting to go down there and check that place out. Not only because of your film, but because they have sightings down there of cryptids, UFOs, and spirits.
Yep.
And if you walk far enough back into the hills, you might more than likely find a still as well.
Oh, yeah.
The other kind of spirits.
Yep.
So, hold on one second. Your laundry's in the other room. So, the kids showed up. So, I want them to take their laundry with them.
Right.
So, but you know what? We're at our break. So everyone, no, we're not. We still got another minute to go. So after we come back from the break, we're going to talk about what you've got planned, what you got coming up, whether it's this year or next year, and what else you'd like to do. If there's anything this year that you're going to be able to actually get in. So we're going to go from here and see if we can get that far.
Okay.
So I know this year with a lot of things being canceled, I know a lot of people have been going out and doing investigations on their own and not hitting any of the big events and all that. So,
right.
So hopefully we can find something that you guys are going to do. And want to hear about how John's doing if he's going to be going with you. So everyone, you're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. We will be back after the news break. So make sure you come back. If you have any questions, please put them in either one of the chats, and I will make sure that they get asked and answered. Even if I have to go down and beat them over the head to get the answer, we'll get it. Okay? So make sure you guys, and this is a good time to go get a drink. Don't get dehydrated. Go get a drink and come back. Thanks.
Support for this podcast and the following message come from Dun & Bradstreet, offering account-based marketing solutions that help B2B teams execute ABM strategies that can help accelerate the buyer's journey and increase sales efficiency. Learn more at dnb.com/ABM.
Live from NPR News, I'm Jack Speer. Another U.S. city where President Trump is threatening to send federal reinforcements to keep the peace is pushing back. Federal agents have been taking people into custody in Portland, Oregon. Now Trump says federal forces should be dispatched to Chicago after a wave of gun violence there. Trump said the city's Democratic mayor is partly to blame.
We're not going to let this happen in our country. All run by liberal Democrats.
More federal law enforcement to some of these cities?
More federal law enforcement, that I can tell you.
But Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot strongly rejected that idea, saying the federal government could take other actions to help out if that's really the intent.
He could fully fund the ATF here in Chicago. He could fully fund additional prosecutors to focus on gun violence cases.
In Portland, city officials have accused federal forces of escalating the violence there as part of an effort by Trump to portray himself as a law and order president. Democratic leaders in Congress say they want answers from the FBI about foreign efforts to interfere in this year's election. NPR's Philip Ewing has that story.
The lawmakers say they're concerned about a scheme that might be aimed at members of Congress in this year's races. In a letter to FBI Director Christopher Wray, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and her colleagues write that they are, quote, gravely concerned that Congress appears to be the target of a concerted foreign interference campaign which seeks to launder and amplify disinformation. No Republicans signed the letter, and it isn't clear what underlying activity has animated Pelosi and her colleagues in the Senate. The Democrats are requesting a briefing for every member of Congress before the recess scheduled for this August. Philip Ewing, NPR News, Washington.
Researchers in England and China say they have encouraging results in their efforts to produce vaccines to protect against the coronavirus. More from NPR's Richard Harris.
Scientists at Oxford University, as well as researchers in Wuhan, China, are on the vanguard of coronavirus vaccine development. The British team has now tested its experimental vaccine on more than 1,000 people. They say the shot did not cause any major side effects, and it triggered a strong immune reaction. Researchers in Wuhan reported similar results in a study of about 500 people. These studies do not prove that the vaccines actually protect people against the coronavirus, but the findings are encouraging. These teams are ramping up large-scale trials that are now necessary to show whether the vaccines would be effective and safe when given to millions of people. Richard Harris, NPR News.
The White House says it is reviving its public coronavirus task force briefings and that President Trump will again take a critical role. Trump saying he will be leading a briefing tomorrow, his first since April 27th. The coronavirus task force, led by Vice President Mike Pence, was holding daily briefings in March and April with Trump participating, but those briefings largely disappeared in late April after their ratings began to slide. Stocks gained ground on Wall Street today. The Dow closed up 8 points. The Nasdaq rose 263 points. You're listening to NPR. European leaders are expressing optimism that after days of wrangling, they're moving closer to a coronavirus relief package. The EU is looking at a combined budget and stimulus package worth about $2.1 trillion, but spent much of the weekend bickering over how it should be constructed. Apparently took an emotional dinner speech by European Council President Charles Michel and a new set of budget numbers to advance the Marathon Summit meeting to the next step. The meeting was set to end Saturday, but was forced into overtime. NPR recently learned that Yuki Llewellyn, whose image as a toddler en route to an internment camp became globally famous, has died after a long illness. She was 80 years old. Karen Grigsby Bates of NPR's Code Switch team has more.
Yukiko Okinaga Hayakawa was waiting with her mother at Union Station in Los Angeles when a photographer took her photo. She was part of a community of some 120,000 people of Japanese ancestry who were sent to desolate inland parts of the country after Japanese forces attacked Pearl Harbor in 1941. This removal of Americans to concentration camps was later decried as one of the darkest points in modern American history. Clem Alber's photo shows a dazed 2-year-old Yuki sitting on a large suitcase. Later, as a married woman, Yuki Llewellyn became an educator and advocate for Asian American studies. She's survived by her son, daughter-in-law, and 3 grandchildren. Karen Grigsby Bates, NPR News.
Crude oil futures prices gained ground today. The price of oil up 22 cents a barrel to close at $40.81 a barrel on the New York Mercantile Exchange. I'm Jack Speer, NPR News.
Welcome back to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 5 minutes after the hour. Welcome back to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 5 minutes after the hour.
Welcome back to the Paranormal Pride. I'm your host, Denise Pridemore, and my guest tonight is David Glidden. So welcome back. I'm glad you made it back from the break. So I have a question from April.
Okay.
She
April.
says, I was wondering if any spook lights were associated with natural disasters because she's seen people report them around volcanoes specifically.
Okay, so light anomalies can happen due to the friction of the Earth itself. Like if there's earthquakes, volcanoes, the grinding of the plates, the tectonic plates, will actually emit energy, which will create, not necessarily like ball lightning, but it will create light anomalies. It could be flashes of light, could be a streak of light, could just be a glow for a few seconds. But stuff like that can happen around natural disasters. So, yeah.
In fact, that's theorized that some natural disasters caused some of the lights in some of the places.
Yeah, some of the sightings. Yes.
So, because I remember something along those lines with along the Mississippi River.
Mm-hmm.
There were quite a few, and there were reports that when the Mississippi River ran backwards
from an earthquake
on the New Madrid Fault, that there were a lot of lights seen all the way up and down the Mississippi River, and some up going up the Missouri River as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that was back in the 1800s.
Well, also you have to consider the Earth is always kind of moving anyway, and even if it's not at a detectable level by seismographs, the Earth is always shifting and moving, and it just has to be enough of a shift for it to create stuff like that. I've been down in the Stratica salt mines in was it Atchison, Kansas?
No, Stratica.
Hutchinson,
Kansas. Yeah.
Yeah. Down in Hutchinson. And down in the mines, I mean, they're 650 feet below the earth. They've told us that the salt crystals and other minerals, when they get crushed down there, they emit like energy. So you'll see glows. They've even seen orbs of light down inside the mine just from the constriction of the minerals.
And we have other salt mines in over in it's in Missouri, starts with an F. See, that's how it's bad. Fulton? I know where it is. No, not Fulton. It's south of St. Louis.
Oh, south of St.
Festus, yeah, Festus. There is a salt mine there filled with water that people say that they see random lights in now.
Mm-hmm. And all that I would attribute to being a natural phenomenon rather than like a spiritual thing or, beings traveling or anything like that,
I'll tell you, in Kimball, West Virginia, we were down in the mines and we kept seeing, it's so black you can't see in front of your face. And when we turned off our flashlights and sat down there, okay, just remember this was, I'm not going to tell you what year it was, but I was 12. And we were down in the mine, and all of a sudden we started seeing lights down there. And the mine had been closed down for 15 years. So There was no people down there, just me and my cousins roaming through there. Okay, of course, we were on private property, but we were 12. We didn't know. And I think that might have been natural from the coal.
Yeah. Again, it doesn't have to be like salt, or it doesn't have to just be crystal. If anybody's ever done this, get like a big crystal, and then take like a Dremel and put like the cutting tool on there and cut through a crystal. That thing will sit there and have like a lightning storm within that crystal while you're cutting it. It's amazing to see.
I've seen some of that at a store here in Kansas City. They'll cut the crystals, while you're in the store, and not for any other reason other than they're cutting them. You can happen to see them behind the glass, so it's kind of neat to see. But yeah, I could see where there would be maybe some light anomalies. I think down here in Tonopah, Oklahoma.
Uh-huh.
there's light anomalies as well as Bigfoot and spirit sightings in that area as well.
Right.
Have you checked out any of that?
Just online. Haven't been to it. But I do have a friend of mine who was shooting a documentary down in that area.
Currently?
No, they've already shot it. Hasn't been put together yet.
We have a friend that wrote a book about it down there, Brandon Callahan.
Yeah, she's on the shot documentary.
It's a really good book.
Yep.
So I had him on. Oh shoot, it's probably been 3-4 years ago now, and because I had him on after I met him at the first the same Paracon I met you at. So he is a very good writer.
Yes, he is.
So you either have it or you don't. So I'm going to look through here and see if there's any other questions. But so what do you actually have planned that you think might happen this year?
That's hard to say. Just judging on the way this year's been. But what I'd like to do, I'm still working on the paranormal studies pilot. Still working on that. I just upgraded my computer, so like kind of going through a little bit of a change right now at home with personal life and just upgrading my systems and everything like that. Just trying to get back on track with all that and working at the same time. So that's all fighting each other, but it is going to get done. And hopefully within the next couple months, I'll have the pilot done. And the toughest part about that's been really just getting a hold of anybody that has connections to a network or, somebody that has some pull to actually take the time and talk to me about the pilot or about the show and take a look at the pilot. Aside from that, I do have another documentary I'm working on. It's based on my own experiences at the Garnett House. Mm-hmm. And it's basically looking into the connection that I seem to have with whatever's there. I don't know if you've seen like some of the live streams that I've done there or some of the haunting history episodes I've done there, especially recently. But over the last about 4 or 5 investigations, actually ever since we started investigating there, it started to seem that whatever is there is comfortable coming out whenever I ask it to do something, like it would do it. And it got to be pretty consistent. And I've never seen this in the 15 plus years that I've been investigating. I've never seen an entity able to do things upon command or upon request. And that's always been like the thing that everybody always says. If there's going to be definitive proof, it's going to be because the spirit's going to be able to do things whenever you ask it to do stuff, and you can show it happening. Well, this is happening to me at the Garnett House, and the documentary I'm putting together is kind of revolving around that and asking those questions, like why is it that it's doing this for me, or just in general, or if this is something that I'm, fabricating in my mind. I don't know. Like there's so many questions I have about it myself. And I think it was 2 or 3 months ago, I spent 3 days, 3 nights in Garnett.
Yep, I remember.
That I was going to do some filming there. I'm planning on going back for some more filming. But that's the documentary that I'm working on right now, kind of in the background of all this. I don't suspect that it'll be done anytime soon. Probably around the end of the year or the beginning of next year, I'll probably have it all put together and ready to go.
Well, I know that when we came down there to visit you guys, when you guys were down there, mm-hmm. I was just standing at the back door and saw a shadow figure just talking from, we were talking with, I don't know if it was talking with you, we were talking with you, but I think we were talking to Dan at the same time. And I happened to see the shadow figure walk behind him in I guess it used to be part of the doctor's office back then.
Yeah.
An examination room or something. And so I happened to see that. And so really, I've been trying to keep my mind clear so that when we go there to investigate, I don't have all these experiences in my head that you guys had. So, well, you know me, I gotta go in
fresh mind.
Yep. But I will say, Rob's been doing a great job getting everything taken care of. He's got the whole downstairs primered on the outside.
Yeah.
It looks good. Rob's been doing a great job. So, and it's the Piedmont lights that's more UFO related.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, it was just kind of neat. When I was watching that on, I don't know what channel it was, but it was kind of interesting that they put up all the lights and were trying to communicate with it, and it was just weird. But you know, they were never fully clear that it was a UFO or if it was just lights.
Right.
So, yeah, that's how it is. Here is another question from April. Do you think anyone will ever have evidence that will be accepted as proof? It feels like no matter how convincing the evidence is, it will definitely be accepted.
To that, I'm going to say a big fat no. The reason for that is I look at myself and the way I see everybody else's evidence. I don't like it when people bring me pictures to look at or video.
I know.
And I don't like it when people bring me video either. Because, number one, I wasn't there. And because I wasn't there, I don't know the conditions. I don't know how the layout is. I don't know the setup. I don't know any of that. All I know is there's a photo with this on it. Mm-hmm. So whether or not somebody fakes up and just threw it there and it's like, hey, what do you think of this? It's a photo. I mean, I didn't experience it, so, that's not really proof to me. You can't go into an investigation go into investigating in general and expect to be able to prove to everybody that the paranormal is real.
Right.
You have to go into it. Most people do go into it with their own questions, but try to look for your own answers and be satisfied with what you capture. If you're satisfied with it, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. You don't have to show everybody every piece of evidence. You don't have to post it on your group's Facebook page every weekend that you went to this place and you got this sound or whatever on audio. It doesn't matter. The only person it really matters to is you. So just take your own evidence for what it is and your own experiences, and just be happy with that. Don't try to change everybody's mind, because you're not going to.
No, it's the mask debate all over again.
Yeah,
it is. If you notice, I don't post anything. I'll post some pictures, but it's not, hey, I'm saying they're evidence in them. These are pictures I just took while I was here.
Yeah.
That's it. And I keep it at that. Evidence is to each person, to each his own. I don't want to debate about what it is, because I sit there and I argue with the TV every week.
Exactly.
And what good does it do me? They're not hearing me argue with them. Only one that gets to hear me argue with the TV is Ron.
Yeah.
And I don't believe half the stuff I see on TV.
The only people you'll actually convince about evidence you've captured is people that know you personally and know how you are in investigating and know how thorough you are with your evidence review or in discernment on what's paranormal and what's not.
Right.
Yeah.
But in your filming knowledge, you know that if somebody brings you a video, it can be altered.
Yeah, for sure. In fact, there was a guy who, this was I think 2 years ago, posted this picture of this ball of light that was moving through he said it was moving through a cemetery. And I looked at the thing and I'm like, you know what? I've got this same effect in my Adobe After Effects, and I recreated his own picture for him, and I posted it side by side with my recreation, and I posted it on his thread, and it was identical. I made it 100% identical. I think I still have the picture somewhere, but I posted that on his page, and of course he defended his picture, But everybody else saw it, and they're like, yeah, if he could recreate that.
It's not paranormal if it can be recreated exactly. It's just like that news that the Arizona News said, look, they caught a picture of this little boy in the hospital. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, that's one of those ghost apps for your phone, ghost camera. And it randomly puts ghosts in your thing. And it's like, no, they didn't do their homework. And they put that on the news. And all I could do was laugh. But you know what? We're at our break. Everyone, you're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. We will be back in just a few minutes.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, Birmingham, Alabama.
Thank you for listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 23 minutes after the hour.
Welcome back to the Paranormal Pride. I'm your host, Denise Pridemore, and my guest tonight is David Glidden. And so hopefully if any of you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask them, and I'll ask them for you. So David, I know how meticulous you are with your evidence.
Yeah.
We've investigated together a few times, and I've been involved. Well, how we met was through a haunted history that you filmed. I don't even know when that was now. Yeah, I know. And then you got to play it over and over for me.
Right in front of you.
Right in front of me for hours on end. But I know how you are. I didn't then when I first met you, but over time, we've gotten very close with the personally and paranormally. So I know I trust you, but are there things that you see that, as obviously not real, that makes you aware that it's not something paranormal, whether it's orb in quotes, or a shadow, though somebody will say it's a shadow figure and you're looking at it and you're going, that looks like you, or lights going off and their camera's too close and that kind of crap.
First off, like if anybody brings me a picture, I'm not going to tell you like straight out. I'm not going to be a jerk and be like, yeah, this is crap. I'm not going to do that. I'll be like, hey, it looks cool. That's about it. I'm not going to like sit there and make a comment about like how the picture looks or what I think about it, because again,
you weren't there.
I wasn't there, and it's not my picture, so I don't. This is going to sound mean, but I don't care.
How about your own? Okay, on your own stuff, when you're looking at it, and somebody points out, "Oh, there's a shadow figure," and you're looking at it and you're going, "No, that was just something was in the room and it made that shadow."
Yeah, I will totally debunk my own stuff. I have no problems doing that. In fact, John and I went to a cemetery just about a week ago, and on the way back home, I was listening to some of the audio, and I heard this voice come over the GoPro, and I was like, shoot, I got to get on the computer and analyze this. So I got on there, and I kept hearing it, and I'm like going over it and over and over it. I'm like, damn it, it's saying your name. So I ran and got John, brought him in here. He heard the name and everything, and as I was rewinding it, I went back a little too far, and then I heard John's voice on the GoPro, and then I say something, and then it was John. It turned out to be John's voice from a distance saying this name. So like I debunked my whole thing. I was like, damn it! And I had just put on Facebook that I think I've got something on audio.
You did. You had something on audio. It just wasn't anything paranormal.
Exactly. And I was like, well, shoot, there goes that. So I threw a quick video together, and I put it up on the YouTube channel. And in the video, I said, if we captured anything from this, it'll be at the end of the video. And guess what? There's nothing at the end of the video. Sorry to say it.
Well,
spoiler alert.
Well, sometimes capturing EVPs outside is hard because there's a lot of other noise.
Yeah.
There's wind, there's cars, there's animals. There could be kids in the yard across the road. Not that every graveyard has a yard across the road, but you just don't know what's going to be in the area. And if it's a windless day,
Yeah.
Sometimes sound carries further, and if the wind's blowing right at you, it carries even further.
Mm-hmm.
So I will tell you, this one place we were trying to do EVP session at, all you could hear was the road.
Right.
We couldn't hear it while we were sitting in the house, but when we were listening through headphones, that's all you could hear was cars driving up and down the road.
Oh, yeah.
So that's not good. And there's another place that's just like that, where it wasn't like that before, but now we heard we're 18-wheelers most of the night.
Yep.
So, which is strange.
I do want to clarify. Earlier, whenever I said that, like, when people bring me photos or whatever, and I said I don't care, the reason I say that is because it doesn't affect me any.
Right.
I didn't take the picture, so I have no personal connection to the picture. So, people that bring me evidence or whatever, they have that personal experience. They have that personal connection to that piece of evidence or whatever they want to call it. So that's theirs. That's not for me to decide. That's for them to decide.
Right.
So I just want to clarify whenever I say I don't care, it's not that I don't care, it's that I don't have that connection to that.
Well, we have a picture I took way back when in 2009 when we went to the Vliska murder house.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really neat picture.
Yep.
It creeps out a lot of people. But when I tell them it's lightning bugs, they are like, no. I said, I had an old BlackBerry phone that had a very slow shutter speed, so it caught the lightning bugs, and it looks like what people call vortexes.
Yeah.
And it's like, nope, this is 2 lightning bugs, but they just happen to be over the Vliska axe murder sign.
It cracks me up whenever you can debunk your own photo, but other people will still stick up for your photo and be like, no, that's a ghost. Like, no, I took it. I was there. I know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember this picture like it was yesterday, because I remember taking it to the family reunion and going, look where we're going on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And them going, darn, we got to tell you guys a story about the family. Like, not again. It's always Denise finds out something strange about the family, and here you go. But there is a place that I'd like for you to check out when you get a chance. It's Cane Hill, Arkansas.
It sounds familiar.
Ron's dad went to school there. He was one of the last classes to graduate from there. But there was also a battle there. So a Civil War battle happened there as well. Teeny tiny town. It's along the Trail of Tears as well. And Cane Hill was the first college in Arkansas, built back in 1839.
Okay. Yeah.
And there was some murders back there, and they lynched the wrong people for the murders.
Oops.
Yeah. So they've got some really interesting history. And we met one of the guys. Well, I talked to him on the phone. He wanted to come out there, but he couldn't because of the COVID. It was shut down. So, but over Memorial Day, we went.
Yeah.
Because Ron's family, the road that goes through there is Pridemore Road.
Right.
So we went.
Yeah.
That was the day we should have wore shirts that said, Pridemore Paranormal, or, where Pridemores treat us like royalty, because apparently there are hardly any there's none that live in town anymore. So it was just kind of strange being out there. We also went to Prairie Grove battlefield.
The battlefield, yeah.
And we need to get out and walk around. It was the first time we've been to a battlefield where it didn't rain on us. First time. But so we went to 2 battlefields in one day and no rain. But Cane Hill has got such a neat history that you might want to look at that for something in the future.
I remember you talking to me about that when you guys were going out that way.
It's not well known.
Yeah.
And they did, some paranormal team did go out there, and they did a couple videos, but like I said, I didn't watch them. I just happened to see that they were out there. But when I talked to the guy, he really wanted to visit with us when we came out. First of all, because we're Pridemores.
Right.
That's the first thing. But second thing is he wanted to take us to a house there that his daughter was having paranormal experiences at, and he wanted to see what we had to say.
Aha. Hey, at least they're open
admitting
about the whole paranormal thing.
Yeah.
That's a start.
The bad part is so many of these places are closed.
Yeah.
That you can't get to them. So actually, we've talked about what's been canceled. What else what else do you have planned? Anything, period? Do you have anything planned for 2021 besides, I think you're planning on doing that paranormal conference down in Little Rock if they reschedule it?
Yeah. I definitely want to, like I've been telling John, I definitely really want to get out and hit up a lot more conferences and just kind of mingle a little bit. Like I hate sounding like I'm tooting my own horn, but like I am pretty well known in the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't have enough, not connections, but like I don't know people well enough that are on like the East Coast or the West Coast or anything like that. And I'd really kind of like to get to know some of these people a little bit better and maybe get some investigation experience with them.
Well, I have some good names for you.
I've outside of the conferences, I'm kind of more at the point where I'm just kind of sitting back and seeing where things go at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I have had the itch about going out and investigating and doing some more filming for like the Haunting History channel. But if some of these other projects end up picking up, I will be focusing on them a little bit more. But I've also been considering, like with Haunting History, it's got a following. A lot of people like the style of it, where you get a lot of the history versus, just a gloss over and then boom, investigating. I have thought about trying to find sponsorship for that, and if I can get enough sponsorship to fund our investigations, then that might be something I'd definitely consider. Mainly because I have over the last couple months, I've been hit up by numerous places for wanting me to come out there and film, and
right.
Just like one of them,
it gets expensive.
Yeah, one of them's in Minnesota, one's like down in Texas, another one's like here and there, like they want us to go everywhere. So another one's in Kentucky.
Okay, well, I know a lot of things. I know a lot of things in Kentucky. Yeah. But but like I said, I have some contacts in all those places.
Yeah, it's been coming in my inbox like at least once every 2 weeks, once a week, something like that. I'll get a message from somebody somewhere wanting to know if I could come film and what it would take for me to come film. And I have to be honest with them. I'm like, dude, right now I'm working. I'm an essential, apparently, and it pays my bills. Yep. I can't just take off from work and go on a filming spree for like 4 days at a time.
No, it's not like it was before.
Yeah,
when you did have that opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I did have a different job that allowed me to do that, but not this one. This one's a lot better job. So.
Well, you seem to be doing good at it, at least when we were down there.
Yeah.
And had a lot of, I'd never seen that many people at that Walmart before, ever. I mean, honestly, in the years that we've been driving by there, we've never seen that.
Yeah, it's on the weekends especially, it's extremely busy.
Well, especially because of the float trips and stuff and the camping down there. So and that's really taken off this year, more so than ever.
It's surprising how many people are down here floating. But,
yeah, and is the water still? I mean, I know the water sometimes at Pineville is usually very low.
Oh, it's good right now. We just had a little bit of rain a few days back, but it's still good right now.
We've seen 15 drops of rain. I'm serious. We get warnings all the time for O'Fallon, Missouri, and up there in Gallatin, and all these places that are getting rain, and it's like, nope, it builds up and it lands right on the Missouri state line right across from us. We haven't seen any. Ron hasn't mowed the grass in a month.
Just let it die out.
It's been dead.
Yeah.
And here I am making him look at houses in a place where he'll have to mow probably 9 months a year or more.
Ron.
But again, we probably won't have a 3/4 acre lot.
Right.
So you won't have to walk as much. Oh, I actually, if we're right on, maybe we'll just have a sand yard.
There you go. Hey, people in Bella Vista, Arkansas, half of them have those rock yards where they just throw a bunch of rocks in the yard and put plants in between.
Oh, that's like our daughter's yard in Vegas. They got the tree out there, the olive tree and the fig tree and the palm tree, and that's it. And it's like, okay. But my oldest daughter is allergic to those olive trees, but you can't get rid of it because then you'll have no shade.
Mm-hmm.
So it's weird. But yeah, I'm more of a dry gardener. I prefer everything to be able to take the drought.
Right.
So I'll have to learn something different if we move down to the beach area. And I guarantee we'll probably see you more if we move down to the beach. You'll probably come visit.
At least once or twice.
Oh yeah, everybody loves the beach.
There's gonna be some parties.
Oh yeah, since I'm an empty nester now,
Mm-hmm.
and after surgery I'll be able to drink again. And so, being sober Denise is still fun though.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love sober.
So, okay, so 2021 is going to be a big year then.
2021 is going to be a big question mark. A lot of decisions will have to be made for 2021, but yeah.
I think that we're all going to see something different in 2021. I think that there's still going to be social distancing, but I don't think that there's going to be. I think everybody's going to be more wanting to get out when 2021 hits.
I'm seeing a shift kind of on the social media front as far as like the paranormal field is concerned. Since COVID has hit, there's been a big shift. A lot less like live streaming and things like that. I mean, there's still some out there. There's still some places and people live streaming investigations, but it's not such commonplace now. My timeline used to be filled with all these live streams. Now it's like barely anybody's out there doing anything. And I think we're about to see something, maybe not necessarily new, but like maybe something's going to either come back into play for the paranormal field, or we're just going to see something change really soon.
Why do you think that there's less live streaming? Is it because some of the places are closed, or?
I think that could be part of it. Another thing, people don't want to go out and do that anymore. Like, people probably don't want to be out in public or going out because of this COVID stuff. And then on top of that, the live streams, like, I don't know, there's been a lot of people calling other people out for being fake or trying to get famous through being in the paranormal. And I think it's wreaked havoc on a lot of people. And we're seeing some of that drop off.
Oh, you mean the look at me mentality?
Yeah. I think a lot of that's dropped off, and for the better. But I think that's part of the reason why we see the fewer and fewer live streams.
I've been seeing more YouTube videos.
Yeah.
So
yeah, a lot of YouTube channels, but and a lot more people trying to jump on Amazon Prime as well.
Well, I've been seeing that as well. I've been seeing a lot of people advertising for their show being on there, and then I've also seen that some shows get on there, and as soon as they get on, they're cut.
Yeah, or their ratings are so low and they just stop, or they just get lazy. They put out 1 or 2 episodes and then they don't put out another episode for like 3 months.
Well, there's a lot of work involved, basically, I know, to get it set in the Amazon Prime format, since it's different than the other formats for Roku and Hulu and all that stuff. So you have to know all your terminology to make sure that you get it just right.
Yeah. And it's especially way different than YouTube. Like YouTube, you can just throw it up there.
Yeah.
Like, format doesn't matter. But
right. But I know for Amazon, you actually have to have it closed captioned as well, right?
Yes, you do. Yep.
So do you have to do that manually?
For my movies, I didn't do it. I actually had somebody else do it. But I do have, like in Adobe Premiere, I do have the ability to close caption everything. I can put the captions in there myself.
Well, that's good, because I know I watch when I do watch things on YouTube or even on if it is a Facebook Live radio show, I'll keep the captions up.
Right.
Because there are times I hear stuff, but then I see stuff in the background, see stuff that they didn't say show up. Like, is that an EVP or is it reading it wrong?
Yeah, like it's the automatic captions. Yeah. Now, that's something, like the Amazon Prime thing is something that I've actually been considering. Like if I were to bring back Haunting History, I would probably bring it back on Amazon Prime if I were to get sponsorship. Like if the show was sponsored for us to go to these locations and stuff like that, I would probably go ahead and just do an Amazon Prime version of Haunting History.
Right.
I mean, I've always wanted the show to support itself. Like, I don't care if I make money from it or not, but I just want the show to be able to support itself and stand on its own legs, rather than, going broke over trying to film stuff. That's nobody's wish.
Right. You can't do that with how your life has changed in the last year.
Oh yeah.
So you got to be responsible and
as an adult.
Yeah, as much as it sucks to be an adult, it's what we have to do. So, we've got to make sure that got food in the fridge.
My playtime's been cut down from an hour to a half hour.
Well, no, actually, you got more playtime because you're probably somebody's favorite toy.
I don't know. Not after today.
Not after today?
No, she was mad at me today for the most part.
Well, don't worry about it.
Oh, no.
She's a girl. She'll go through that quite often.
Oh, I know.
And so, been there, done that with the 4 girls. And so far the granddaughter and the grandson haven't gotten mad at me yet.
Well,
there's time. Yep. I got a feeling January my granddaughter's going to get mad at me.
Well, at least you can plan it.
Oh yeah. Well, with the virus and stuff, she's going to be stuck at home with us for so many days without her mom and dad because dad's not allowed to leave the hospital. If he leaves, he can't go back.
Right.
So we know what's going to happen then. I want to see mommy. You can't, sorry. So, but we're going to go to break here in just a minute. So everybody, you're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. If you've got any questions, please get them asked so I can get them asked and answered for you before the show ends. And because I'd hate for you to miss out on any of David's quirky answers. So we'll be back.
You're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, come on. I'm Southern, but... Nope. That'll do. Hello. I am Kat Hobson, host of Paranormal Experience here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. I enjoy having guests from all areas of the paranormal, from ghosts to ufology to cryptids and beyond. You'll find some of the best researchers in their fields bringing you some great information. Join me on Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 p. Eastern here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experienced Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Welcome back to the Paranormal Pride, and this is our last few minutes with David. And so we're going to start out with first, David, how can people find you if they need to find you?
Usually through the window, they can see me.
Mm-hmm.
Usually in the evenings. Facebook, really. I took down all my other pages because of this whole shenanigans with Rick. I had people jumping on my other pages, so I took those down temporarily. I'll end up getting those back up here sometime soon. But you can still find me. I'm on Facebook. I don't do any other social media. You can go to the YouTube channels, youtube.com/haunting history. Check out our videos there. Amazon Prime, realhouse.org. You can find the Into the Light movies, and also we're on VidiSpace, so check us out there.
Are all your haunting history still out on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, so April, you can go out there and check out season 2, episode, what was it that I was in?
Ooh, that's a good question. I want to say it's episode 3.
Something like that. But me and Ron are in that one. And so since she's met my husband, now she knows what he looks like.
I'm sorry, April.
Oh.
Packer fans.
She lived part of her life up in South Dakota, so I don't know who her team would have been back then. So, yeah, you're in it.
I would also like to say real quick that, as far as the Haunting History channel goes, and this is probably the biggest reason why I'm thinking about bringing it back later on. A lot of people see all these shows on YouTube or wherever, and every video they're catching all this stuff. But one of the best compliments that I've gotten, and I still love to get these compliments, is people will say they really love the show, even though we didn't catch anything. They still enjoyed watching it. And that to me is the best compliment ever. You can compliment somebody on the catch. Oh, that's a great EVP. Oh, there's several. But a show with no evidence and people still like it, now that's something worth noting.
Well, what I like about it is that you do focus on factual history. And you had done the Sally House before, but yet you still came and asked me again to do it a different time or something different, because of the fact that I actually had facts at that time that people were all spewing these legends that really weren't true.
Right.
And so
legends sell.
Yes, legends sell, and that's not what you wanted. And in yours, I actually go into some of those legends, but then also tell the facts as I knew them then. Of course, by the time I ended, of course, we all know I knew so much more than there was because I dug so deep. But, it is what it is. It's the history part, the factual history part isn't easy.
It's not. And things change so often. That's part of the reason why we did so many episodes at the Malvern Manor.
Mm-hmm.
Since the first episode to the last time we were there, we re-interviewed Josh to find out what new information had come up and what's changed. And because people will go back to the old videos, they'll see some information or hear some information that they know now is not true.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, that's what was thought to be true. And they'll comment something like that. It's well, you need to check out this episode just to catch up,
And like I said, I know what some of that is because I contributed to some of that history that Josh now has from some of the digging that I did after we went up there. But again, when we went up there the first time, I didn't know squat.
Yeah.
I knew that Rick had some amazing experiences there because he came back to the Sally House when he was helping us with tours and told us all about it. Mm-hmm. And Steve Hayes had some amazing experiences there. although I've never heard a train when we've been there, but yet they had experiences that had to do with a train. Never heard the darn train. I know where it is, but I've never heard it while I was in there. You got an amazing EVP there, and every time we go there now, Ron tries to set up a recorder so he can try to catch it.
Yeah.
In that same area around that same time.
So many people have come to me or that have heard that EVP and said to me that they've heard that before in the building, but they've never captured it on recorder. So that to me, is pretty mind blowing that people are confirming what's on that recorder. It's pretty awesome. It
is, and I know that Charlie, he really enjoyed being there at that time. I don't know where he was with you guys, but I know that he talks about you quite often when we're together, and he brings up that audio every time we're at Malvern because Charlie comes with us to a lot of places. I have 3 paranormal sons: Rick, you, and Charlie. That's it. They're the only. You guys are the ones that I tell people these are my kids, and of course then we've got the girls. I've got, we all know about my girls. So it's weird how it is. I have a very big family, and I'll tell you, you never made me prouder to be your friend than when you called me back last October.
Oh, yes.
Especially considering I had a concussion at the time. But it kept me going that whole day. I was so sick, but I was waiting for the word and the picture. And when you sent it, I was so proud. I was showing Ron, and of course he's driving. He was like, "What? She's been born." So it made me feel very, very happy and very happy for you. And she's a beautiful little girl. You're very lucky.
Well, thank you. She's going to kill me very soon when she starts dating.
Oh, you got years before that. At least 12.
Yeah, I got at least 12. 30.
Well,
30. We're looking at 30.
That's what my dad said. My dad said that. Of course, he was gone. He probably rolled over in his grave. It's probably that bump on his grave that I see.
You're not 30 yet.
No. Yeah. By 30, I already had 3 kids. So
good time to get married then.
Yep. So, and
real quick, Rick, the first time I actually met Rick in person was at the Kansas City conference. The day before, I actually went to Malvern, where we went and filmed that pilot. I'd talked to Rick before on social media, on Facebook and stuff like that, but he actually showed up at the conference. We hung out the first night. We went to the investigation that they had after the conference, and we pretty much sat out in the parking lot with a couple other people. We just drank out in the parking lot while everybody investigated. And then the next day, I had told Rick what I was going to be doing after I left there, and he's like, "Dude, can I come film it?" I was like, "Yeah, okay." Because otherwise, I was going to do this all by myself. I was going to be there all alone, trying to film it all. And Malvern really helped build that bond with Rick, and he and I have that moment in time that's captured forever. So Malvern's got that big place in my heart because of that, and Malvern's the reason Rick and I became such good friends and everything. And
I remember
this new pilot that we shot, that Dan and I shot. I'm gonna be dedicating it to Rick in Rick's memory. So,
that's nice. I'm glad.
There's a lot more writing on it now than ever before. So, because Rick was actually supposed to come shoot that with us.
Right, but he was having an issue with some PTSD at the time.
Yeah.
And so, because I felt really bad, because I know that he was supposed to be on the show with you guys for the paranormal studies, and that's when you guys told me that he wasn't going to make it because he had some PTSD type stuff, and I understood because I knew that he had issues, and on that front from being in Afghanistan, but so you met Rick the first time at the same paranormal conference where I guess we all met at the same time. I already knew Rick by then. We had already filmed one of his episodes together, and I think I had talked to you. Well, yeah, I'd already met you too.
Yeah, you'd already met me.
So
yeah, we'd already filmed the Sally House there.
Right, because I think we did that it was in the spring. I think it was after we did after I did the thing with Rick. So yeah, we had, I mean, that was a big one. That was when we met Gary and Carl, and met Jason, met all of you.
Yeah, you see,
in person. But like I said, I'd already met you and Rick.
That's the importance of these conferences. See, that just goes to show you how important it is to actually be at these conferences and not do the internet thing.
Yeah.
Being there builds these relationships.
Yeah. We've got a bond that's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Exactly.
At least I don't see that happening. I don't know how that could change. But there are some people that I've met at some of the conferences that I don't talk to anymore. And it has nothing to do with other than that's time.
Yeah.
You know, it just is. It is what it is. I've got things I've got to do, and it's life.
Yeah.
So, but again, I've met some people that whether I see them again or not makes no difference. They're still my friend.
Right.
So, and I'll remember that forever and ever. So,
I do want to say real quick.
Please.
Something you'd be interested in hearing. About, I don't know, 5 days ago, I was approached by somebody who had been in contact with a producer out of LA that was interested in doing a documentary on Rick.
Oh. Well, that's amazing. There's so many things that we could say about Rick that people, first of all, probably wouldn't believe.
I had told his mother whenever I was told about it. When she told me, she flat out said to me, like, if anybody's going to do it, I'd want it to be you. And that's just like, yeah.
Well, I am putting together. I have all of my episodes that I did with Rick, except for the very first one. He was my first show. The first show, I don't have that recording. It did not save.
Right.
But all the others I have. So I am going to put together a best of Rick show. And it's going to have recordings, but it's also going to be live. And I'm going to have people that are friends with Rick come on. And even Justin Spurrier has said he'll come on.
Oh, yeah.
And whether it's live or Memorex, I'm gonna do this. I think it's important that people know how we feel about him.
Yeah.
Rick is one of those people that would have given you the shirt off his back if you needed it. And people need to know that. Yes, he was a pot stirrer, but every group has a person who has to stir the pot.
Yeah.
And he was ours. And now you're taking it up. So we'll be saying the same stuff about you one day. When you're 90.
I'm sure.
So, but I would like to thank you so much for coming on tonight. It's been fun catching up with you. I know we didn't talk a lot about the paranormal field, but we did catch up on all the things that's going on. And you got to give your feedback on Rick as well. And I know I'll be talking to you about when I get the show together. And thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And everybody tune in next week when I'll have on Michelle LeBaron. It's going to be a PG version, so make sure that you know that. If you've heard her on the internet, you know that she's not PG most of the time. So actually, we're going to be closer to G than PG. So just be aware of that. But I'm looking forward to meeting her. Like I said during the show, we were supposed to meet next weekend down in Conway, Arkansas. Just a little bit north of Little Rock is where we were supposed to meet. And that conference got canceled. What was that? Back in April?
Yeah, it's something like that. 20 guys canceled.
So it's been a while, but next year is supposed to happen in 2021. Let's see if it does. It'll be interesting if it happens. So, but David, we look forward to seeing everything that you have to put out there. I can't wait to see if there's Into the Light 3, and hopefully you find some of that funding for Haunting History. It's an excellent production. You do a great job.
Thank you. I'm ready to step it up a little bit, though. So.
I know you are. Well, now that you got the new computer and the new software, you should be able to do that. And it was excellent the way you were doing it before, but if you can make it more high tech looking, that's going to be even better.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a lot better done. Done a lot better. Yeah, for sure. Guaranteed.
Well, thank you, and everyone. You're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. We'll see you next Monday at 7 p.m. Central.
You hope.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio. Broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.